The skies above Metropolis were clear, the stars twinkling like scattered diamonds. Superman soared through the night, his cape billowing behind him as he scanned the city for any signs of trouble. It had been a quiet evening, but something felt off, a faint unease that tugged at his instincts. Suddenly, his super-hearing picked up a distress call from a remote village on the outskirts of the city. "Please, someone help us! There's a monster! It's killing our livestock and terrorizing the village!" A panicked voice crackled over the radio. Superman's eyes narrowed. A monster? He adjusted his course and sped toward the village, his mind racing. Metropolis was his home, but he couldn't ignore the cries of those in need, no matter how far they were. When he arrived, the village was eerily quiet. The streets were empty, and the windows of the small houses were shuttered tight. The only sound was the rustling of leaves in the cold night breeze. Superman landed softly in the center of the village, his boots crunching against the gravel. A few villagers peeked out from behind their curtains, their faces pale with fear. "I'm here to help," Superman said, his voice calm but firm. "Tell me what's happening." An elderly man stepped forward, his hands trembling. "It's a beast, a creature from nightmares. It comes at night, tearing through our fields and howling like a demon. We've tried everything, but nothing can stop it." Superman listened intently, his mind already working to piece together the mystery. "Where was it last seen?" he asked. "In the forest," the man replied, pointing toward the dense trees at the edge of the village. "But you must be careful. It's no ordinary animal." Superman nodded. "Stay inside. I'll handle this." As he approached the forest, the air grew colder, and the shadows seemed to stretch and twist around him. His super-hearing picked up faint growls and the snapping of twigs. He moved cautiously, his senses on high alert. Suddenly, a blood-curdling howl pierced the silence, sending a shiver down his spine. From the darkness emerged the creature, a massive, snarling werewolf with matted fur, glowing red eyes, and claws that gleamed like daggers. It lunged at Superman with terrifying speed, but the Man of Steel stood his ground. The werewolf's claws scraped against his invulnerable skin, leaving no mark but surprising Superman with its strength. The two clashed in a flurry of blows, the forest echoing with the sounds of their battle. Superman's punches sent shock waves through the trees, but the werewolf was relentless, its movements almost too fast to follow. For the first time in a long while, Superman felt challenged. Realizing he needed a better strategy, Superman grabbed the werewolf and flew high into the sky, hoping to disorient it. But the creature thrashed wildly, forcing Superman to release it. The werewolf landed gracefully on the ground and let out another bone-chilling howl before disappearing into the shadows. Superman returned to the village, his mind racing. This was no ordinary beast. It was something far more dangerous. And he needed to find out why. The next morning, Superman returned to the village, determined to uncover the truth. The villagers were still on edge, but they welcomed him with cautious hope. The elderly man from the night before approached him again, this time carrying an old, dusty book. "I found this in my attic," the man said, handing the book to Superman. "It might explain what's happening." Superman opened the book, his eyes scanning the ancient text. It spoke of a cursed amulet created by a sorcerer centuries ago. The amulet granted immense power, but at a terrible cost. It transformed its bearer into a werewolf under the full moon. The curse could only be broken by destroying the amulet during the night of the full moon. "Do you know who has this amulet?" Superman asked. The man hesitated. "There's a farmer named Victor. He's been missing for weeks. Some say he found something in the fields, a strange artifact. If anyone has the amulet, it's him. Superman thanked the man and set off to find Victor. He searched the surrounding area, using his X-ray vision to scan the fields and forests. Finally, he spotted a small, run-down cabin hidden deep in the woods. Inside, he found Victor, a gaunt, exhausted man who looked like he hadn't slept in days. "Please," Victor begged when he saw Superman, "you have to kill me. I can't control it anymore." Superman knelt beside him. "I'm not here to kill you. I'm here to help. Tell me what happened." Victor's voice trembled as he spoke. "I found the amulet while plowing my fields. It was beautiful, glowing with an otherworldly light. I thought it was a treasure, but as soon as I touched it, I felt different. That night, under the full moon, I transformed into that monster. I've tried to destroy the amulet, but it's indestructible. I'm cursed, and there's no way out." Superman placed a reassuring hand on Victor's shoulder. "There's always a way. The book says the curse can be broken if the amulet is destroyed under the full moon. We'll do it together." Victor's eyes filled with hope, but it was quickly replaced by fear. "But the beast, it's too strong. It'll kill you." Superman smiled. "I've faced worse. Trust me." As night fell, Superman and Victor made their way to the amulet's location, a clearing in the forest where Victor had first transformed. The full moon hung heavy in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the trees. Superman held the amulet in his hand, feeling its dark energy pulse against his skin. "Stay back," Superman said as Victor retreated to a safe distance. "This might get dangerous." The moment the moonlight touched the amulet, Victor's transformation began. His body twisted and contorted, his screams turning into guttural growls as the werewolf emerged. The creature's glowing eyes locked onto Superman, and it charged with a ferocious roar. The werewolf was faster and stronger than before, its movements a blur of fur and claws. Superman dodged its attacks, using his super speed to stay one step ahead. The forest shook with the force of their battle, trees splintering and the ground cracking beneath their feet. Superman knew he couldn't hold back. He grabbed the werewolf and flew high into the sky, hoping to weaken it. But the creature thrashed wildly, its claws raking against Superman's arms. With a powerful kick, the werewolf broke free and plummeted to the ground, landing in a crouch. Superman followed, landing a few feet away. He held up the amulet, its dark energy pulsing in the moonlight. "This ends now," he said, his voice firm. The werewolf snarled and lunged again, but this time Superman was ready. He channeled his heat vision, aiming a precise beam at the amulet. The ancient artifact glowed brighter and brighter until, with a deafening crack, it shattered into pieces. The werewolf let out a final, agonizing howl as the curse was broken. Its body convulsed, the fur receding and the claws retracting until Victor lay on the ground, weak but human again. Superman knelt beside him. "It's over. You're free." Victor looked up, tears streaming down his face. "Thank you. I don't know how to repay you." Superman smiled. "Just live your life. That's all the thanks I need." As the sun rose, Superman flew back to Metropolis, the village safe once more. But as he looked down at the forest, he couldn't shake the feeling that the amulet's dark energy still lingered somewhere, waiting for its next victim.